This video will be a little janky because of several mistakes on my part. I accidentally stopped the recording a few times, so there will be some jumps in the footage. My GPS path got corrupted, so there won't be a mini-map. And lastly, I managed to unintentionally pause the stopwatch for a few seconds, so I'll add 5 seconds to my final time to compensate. The first thing I completed today was the part of the one that I missed. I'll take this opportunity to add some information about that line that I forgot to include last time. The one bus runs about every 15 minutes throughout every day of the week. Its straight path makes it the fastest route for most trips along Massachusetts Ave, but if you're going all the way between Harvard and Nubian, it's actually faster to take the SL4 and Red Line. For this trip, I started at Nubian Lake before and stayed on until Mass Ave Station, covering the stretch around Boston Medical Center that was detoured for the first time. After that, I went downtown to complete the 7. The MBTA 7 bus is a little more complicated than the 1, but it can still be completed in one trip. It runs throughout the day on weekdays and Saturdays, running about every 40 minutes for most of the day, but as frequently as every 4 minutes during rush hours. On its typical route, it starts at City Point Terminal in South Boston, loops around a few blocks, and runs through the Seaport area. After that, it crosses into downtown Boston, makes a small partial loop, and ends at the intersection of Otis Street and Summer Street, near the connector fountain. On the outbound trip, it completes the downtown loop around the Winthrop Center's cluster of buildings, and follows the same path as the inbound from there. Some additional quirky stuff happens during rush hours. During the morning peak, some inbound buses end a little early at South Station, and outbound buses go more directly to City Point, skipping the almost loop they usually make. During the evening peak, the downtown end stop shifts a little up the loop to Federal Street and Franklin Street under the shadow of the 100 Federal Street office building, and inbound buses take the shortcut from City Point. The 7 is usually the fastest way between South Boston, the Seaport, and downtown. I rode it outbound during the evening rush hour, so I started at Federal and Franklin and made the loop in Southie. Now that I was back at City Point, I completed part of the 11 bus. It's another simple one with no special variants, but the inbound and outbound paths are different enough that I need to complete each separately. It runs throughout every day of the week, every 20 minutes on weekdays, 40 minutes on Saturdays, and hourly on Sundays. Going east from City Point, it follows the South Boston coast before turning northwards and serving the Red Line's Broadway station. It turns west, joins Washington Street, and goes north through Chinatown before ending near Downtown Crossing. On the outbound trip, it takes a different path. Starting from the intersection of Chauncy Street and Summer Street where the inbound ended, it passes South Station, crosses into the Seaport, and dips into West Broadway. Then it rejoins the inbound path for the rest of the way. The 11 bus is the best way to get from most of South Boston to the West Broadway area, but it can be faster to change to the Red Line at Broadway if you're going downtown. I completed the inbound part of the 11 before heading home. Like last time, I started at Nubian and got on the 1 bus. We keep going straight here as expected, unlike the first time I rode this bus when we went on an unprompted detour. Now that we've crossed Washington Street, we return to the main segment of the one bus that I've already completed. However, I stay on until Mass Ave Station, as I expect to take the orange line from there to Downtown Crossing so I can complete the 7.
Okay. Yeah. No, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Did you still have the email? Oh, he is outside.
I told him I give you my new. Yeah, I give you my new.
There's a door here leading to an underpass to get to Mass Ave Station, but unfortunately that's locked, so I had to cross the street instead. And then once I'm on the Orange Line platform, I learn why it's so crowded right now. There's an electrical fire on the tracks between here and Ruggles Station, and the trains on this part of the line are all stopped for now. After meeting a Mormon missionary and taking a peek down the tracks to see if I could spot what the problem was, I decided to head out of the station and take the nearby Green Line downtown instead. Since this is a rush hour train and the orange line, which runs parallel to this part of the line, has a problem, it's very crowded in here and you can't see much. I get out of Park Street Station and begin walking west towards where I'll get on the 7 bus. I get on the 7 bus, although there's still several minutes before it's scheduled to leave. Bunch of people get on here at South Station.
Boston Exhibition Center.
We've crossed into the Seaport District, or South Boston Waterfront as it's officially called, and past the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. I'm not sure what event is happening there today, but there seems to be something happening. Now that we've gone through the part of Seaport with the brick buildings and the part with the new buildings, we get to the part with the industrial buildings and lots of parking shortly before we cross into the main part of South Boston. We get a brief look at Pleasure Bay Beach before we turn left and past a container terminal. I get off outside a City Point terminal, and while I wait for the 11 bus I take next, I watch some planes flying into Logan Airport. the 11's here. I get on and we start following the coastline of South Boston. If I was looking out of the other side of the bus, I would have gotten some nice beach views.
My life is so hard, man.
There's a big crowd outside Broadway Station, but they seem to be waiting for some chartered coach buses and not our bus. We make the awkward 2 lefts and a right here that the bus has to take to turn west, and we cross over the MBTA's Cabot Yard, which holds plenty of parked Red Line trains as well as buses. I don't know what those green things under the bridge are. They look kind of creepy but also kind of cool, and I think they have lights on them. But like, why do they need to be shaped like that? And why are they there? Are they like, were they built here, or were they like creatures that settled here and have a symbiotic relationship with the interstate or something? I really don't know. Also, you'll notice that when I just looked at my stopwatch, it was a little out of sync with the timer shown on screen. That's my bad because of my incidents with accidentally pausing the recording and the stopwatch. In the future videos, I'll have it resync to the stopwatch, and also remember to add 5 seconds to the final time to compensate. We've just turned right onto Washington Street, where we'll be joining the Silver Line as we serve Tufts Medical Center and Chinatown, which are also both stations on the Orange Line. line ends here, 1 block away from where Route 7 starts, and also very close to Downtown Crossing Station on the red and orange lines. Thanks for watching. I'll probably have the next video in 1 or 2 days after this one goes up, and we'll probably be completing the other part of the 11 as well as both sides of the 4, and we'll see what happens from there.